Protest over the election continues. Find out which radio host might be the next White House press secretary, and a look at this week's weather. All that and more coming up on this half hour of RTN News. Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of RTN News. I'm Summer Shiki.
And I'm Sarah Reagan. Welcome to the show. Today we start off with the latest in the local scene.
A New Jersey man allegedly pushes one of his friends in front of a New York City subway earlier Monday morning. Aaron Clay, a Newark resident, is charged with attempted manslaughter and assault after shoving a 54-year-old in front of a train at the 18th Street station around 7 a.m. The man who was pushed is currently in stable condition and suffering head and foot injuries. Clary and the victim were out celebrating the birthday of a third man who witnessed the push. According to officials, Clary was so drunk that he didn't realize what happened until hours later.
A week after the conclusion of the 2016 presidential election, hundreds of towns and cities are calling for unity via protest, and Jersey City is one of them. Hundreds gathered at the Newark Pedestrian Plaza Sunday to mobilize and rally against the president-elect Donald Trump. Protesters can be heard chanting, "Love Trump's hate," and "We deserve better." Jersey City, which is one of the most diverse cities in the nation, had its residents vow to be one of the leading examples of inclusion for people of all races, genders, religion, and backgrounds. Michael Billy, co-chair of Jersey City Pride, said that the challenges everyone to cultivate the diversity of the city and be an example for the rest of the nation. In addition to a number of protests, there has also been a number of hate crimes reported since the results of the election.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie rejected a bill on Monday morning that would have allowed striking workers to collect unemployment benefits. The bill emerged during a 6-week strike over the summer involving Verizon workers who walked off the job protesting the billion-dollar giant's contract demands. The governor sent a revised bill that states, quote, "the language of the current law to make it clear that all striking workers are disqualified from receiving benefits," end quote. About 5,000 of the 40,000 East Coast employees that went on strike work in New Jersey.
Authorities arrested a man early Saturday morning for opening a bar illegally after hours out of a gym. Detectives with the Newark Police Department's Special Enforcement Bureau responded to complaints and spotted people entering Pump It Up Gym at around midnight, which is located at 220 Elizabeth Ave. When authorities entered the gym, they witnessed people drinking and buying alcohol. Newark Public Safety Director Anthony Ambrose stated that the bar did not have the appropriate credentials to sell alcohol. The bar's manager, Victor Morrill of Jersey City, was arrested and charged with maintaining an unlicensed liquor establishment and unlawful possession of alcohol. And now we head over to the fabulous Jashanti Pittman with the weather.
Thank you. This week is looking very bright as it will be sunny most of the week. Starting with today with a high 59 and low 37. Wednesday it will be sunny as well with a high 62 and low 42, continuing into Thursday with a high 61 and low 38, and Friday with a high 63 and low 40. On Saturday, the bright skies will still be there with a high 64 and low 35. However, grab your umbrellas and rain boots because on Sunday, expect a few showers with a high 46 and low 32. It's not too bad. It's really sunny the whole week.
And I thought that it actually, like, the rain was going to ruin the whole day, but it became sunny out, and it looks beautiful. So
it's really weird for November to be this warm, and I'm so happy about it.
Oh my gosh,
I just wish
so
it could always be like this.
Me too.
Well, thanks, Jashanti. Coming up after the break, we'll give you a look into this week's entertainment news, so don't go away.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to RTN News. We're going to head over to Alexa Carini with the latest in entertainment.
Thanks, Summer. For nearly 10 years, the Wildwood Polar Bear Plunge has been raising money for the Special Olympics. While the main event is January, supporters of the organization hold separate events throughout the year to raise as much funds as possible. This weekend, event organizer Mike Sheezy will hold a November end-over to contribute to the charity. At the event, there will be 12 DJs, 2 live performers with food and fun for everyone. The event will take place from noon to midnight at the Salem County FOP on South Broadway in Pennsville. Admission will be $10. The Broad Street Diner in Keyport, New Jersey was featured on CBS Sunday Morning. Already winner of New Jersey's Best Diner Showdown, the Broad Street Diner is recognized for its family-friendly environment as well as delicious Greek food. Owners Maria and Nick Callis grew up together as their fathers owned a diner in Edison, New Jersey. Years later, the children of Greek immigrants opened a diner of their own to follow tradition. You can catch clips of the famous diner on cbsnews.com. Love dogs? The National Dog Show in Philly area is almost here. Although you might see it sometimes on television, the experience would be better brought to life. Getting a ticket to the televised event gives access to a seat at the show, but also 4 massive halls that serve as sites of preliminary rounds, a staging area and beauty shops for the contestants, and of course the adorable competitors who, with permission, you can meet and touch. The National Dog Show will be this weekend from 8 a.m. through 6 p.m. on Saturday and 8:30 a.m. through 5 p.m. on Sunday at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. Now let's turn to Mavish with an entertainment package.
You may be wondering what all the knitted yarn installations down at Rowan Boulevard are. The Rowan Art Gallery, in partnership with Creative Glassboro, has taken part in an event called Yarn It.
A project of works of installations that are referred to as yarn bombings, or some people actually call it knit graffiti. But either way, yarn bombings are crocheted or knitted, and in some cases weaved or braided materials that encase inanimate objects and bring color and animation and just a vibrancy to community locations.
Many Rowan students have decided to take part in the yarn bombing. The process includes doing much of the work at home. The participants get measurements of the object they are to cover, like a bench or lamppost. The finished pieces are then wrapped around the object and sewn together at the seams. While your work does not have to have a meaning, some groups have gotten extremely creative.
My concern in particular is recycling and handling our trash. Our nation is extremely consumerist, and people don't realize what happens to their trash when it leaves their hand. And this is a great visualization. This lamppost probably took hundreds and hundreds of plastic bags that we each cut into strips and knitted.
In partnership with Yarn It, the Rowan Art Gallery was already having an exhibition called Between the Threads.
Exhibition of works by women artists that utilize fiber-based materials like yarn or thread to create artworks that kind of have a feminist bent, but also seek to rearrange or flip the narrative about women gender roles specifically.
The exhibition opens Monday, November 14th, and will be open until January the 7th.
I'm Mavish Khan reporting from 301 High Street for RTN News.
That's actually really cool. I don't know if you guys have been past 301 High Street building, but they have.
So cute.
Right? It does.
It's loving it.
It's adorable.
Yeah. I actually got a chance to speak to the women who are in charge of that, and it's actually really interesting what they do.
Yeah, that's so cute that they have that on campus. And I see it like on like Rowan Boulevard too.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
Okay. Well, thank you, Alexa.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we're going to have some more national news, so don't go away.
The Broad Street Diner in Keyport, New Jersey, was featured on CBS Sunday Morning this past weekend. Show chef in residence Bobby Flay paid a visit to the diner and interviewed owners Maria and Nick Callis, as the two had flashbacks of growing up together as kids in a family-owned diner. In the interview, Callis told Flay that his father and father-in-law worked at a diner, where his father would be the front guy and his father-in-law would be the chef in the back. The interview and story done by Flay can be found on the CBS Sunday Morning page. The Broad Street Diner was recently named by NJ.com as the winner of New Jersey's Best Diner Showdown.
A woman who was accused of killing her twin sister by driving their vehicle off a Hawaii cliff in May is being held in a New York jail after being charged with murder for the second time. New York State Police announced over the weekend that Alexandria Duval was arrested Friday at an Albany home. The arrest comes after the Maui Police Department issued a warrant for Duval's arrest on second-degree murder charges late last month. Duval was released after a judge found no probable cause for a murder charge, but now she is currently being held in the Albany County Jail awaiting deportation to Hawaii. Could teenage binge drinking affect your offsprings? Kevin Cornell has your weekly health check.
Thanks, Summer. Have you ever noticed something about your body that just wasn't right? Well, that could just mean it is trying to tell you something, but in a weird way. Vitamin intake is important for everyone, and with today's diet of processed foods, it's easy to become vitamin deficient, says Dr. Suzanne Blum, author of the Immune System Recovery Plan. Our bodies go through strange lengths to tell us we are skimming on critical vitamins, and here are a few ways you can tell. One cue is cracks on the corners of your mouth. This is a sign of deficiency in iron, zinc, and B vitamins. An easy fix would be to eat more poultry, eggs, sun-dried tomatoes, and peanuts. Another body cue is a red, scaly rash on your face as well as hair loss. This is a deficiency in biotin, meaning you should up your intake in salmon, cooked eggs, and bananas. One last body cue is crazy muscle cramps in the form of stabbing pains in toes, arches of feet, and back of legs. This is as a result of lack of magnesium, calcium, and potassium. An easy fix is eating more almonds, squash, apples, and kale. It is general knowledge that drinking while pregnant can cause serious birth defects. However, your future children are still at risk, surprisingly, even if you're not even pregnant yet. Repeated binge drinking as an adolescent can affect brain functions in future generations, putting offsprings at risk for depression, anxiety, and metabolic disorders. Teenage binge drinking is a major health concern in the United States, with 21% of teenagers reporting they have done it in the past 30 days. Among drinkers that under the age of 21, more than 90% of alcohol consumed is during binge drinking episodes. In a study by Loyola University Chicago Stritch School of Medicine, adolescent males and female rats were given alcohol and mated after they became sober. This study found 244 changes in the gene chemistry in the offsprings whose parents were both exposed to binge drinking. While results from animals do not necessarily reflect humans, there are still significant similarities between the findings. For years, coconut oil has been known to be a great enhancer for your hair, skin, and heart. But are the benefits really as good as we think they are? It turns out that coconut oil is 92% saturated fat, and the USDA and American Heart Association say to limit your intake because it can raise your levels of LDL, or bad cholesterol, and therefore up your risk of heart disease and stroke. Some people have argued that coconut oil acts differently in the body than other types of saturated fat. But a review of 21 studies published earlier this year in Nutrition Reviews refuted that claim as inaccurate. And while some researchers have noticed that people who eat a lot of coconut products don't experience negative heart complications, the author discredits that point too. To keep yourself healthy, alternatives for cooking may be coconut oil and canola, soybean, and other olive oils. So guys, that's a pretty interesting thing there. What do you guys have to think about that, Sarah?
Yeah, that's actually really surprising. I love using coconut oil for everything, especially making desserts. So I guess I'm going to have to find an alternative if I want my heart to be healthy.
Definitely coconut oil is interesting.
And I always use coconut oil in my hair too. So that's a good one. Well, thank you, Kevin. Next up, find out which Grammy Award-winning artist was helped by a group of veterans after being stranded on a New Jersey road.
Welcome back to RTN News. A group of veterans helped a fellow biker who was stranded on a New Jersey road on Veterans Day, and the biker was none other than 20-time award-winning artist Bruce Springsteen. Springsteen was spotted on the road with a broken-down motorcycle when the bikers arrived. The location of the road resided by All Air State Park, and that's when Dan Barkalow was the first to approach the scene. After the crew was unsuccessful in trying to repair Springsteen's bike, the entire group all headed to a nearby bar and grill until the artist's next ride would arrive, according to Barkalow. Barkalow and others who came to aid Springsteen are a part of the Freehold American Legion.
Sticky notes decorate a New York City subway station in response to the presidential election. Matthew Chavez created the project Subway Therapy, where New Yorkers are encouraged to write what they're feeling by putting a Post-it note onto the tiled walls of the station. The subway therapist, who is actually not a licensed practitioner, said, quote, "I wanted to give people an opportunity to feel less stressed or get something off of their chest," end quote. Over 6,000 messages have been posted expressing love, fear, and hope.
A 19-year-old college student at Texas A&M is facing DWI charges after police say that she crashed her SUV while attempting to take a topless Snapchat selfie for her boyfriend. Miranda K. Rader was arrested in Bryan, Texas on Wednesday night. While nobody was injured in the crash, officers had noticed an open bottle of wine in her vehicle and Rader attempting to put her shirt back on, according to the Bryan College Station Eagle. Rader allegedly told the officer she had drank some wine at her friend's house before heading back to her campus dorm. The officers then conducted a sobriety test on the subject and then later on was booked in the Brazos County Jail. Rader was also issued a citation for minor possession of alcohol.
Radio talk show host Laura Ingraham is under serious consideration for the White House press secretary. Sources say that there are others who might take the spot, but Ingraham's name stands out because of her nationally syndicated radio talk show and her close relationship with President-elect Donald Trump. Ingraham is also a lawyer who has worked for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thompson and has also written several best-selling books. As press secretary, Ingraham would be the primary mediator between the White House press corporations and the Trump administration. Now let's head over to Steven Rodriguez with an update on our Rowan sports teams.
Thanks, Summer. To get started in men's soccer, the Profs came out of the first round of the NCAA tournament with a 4-0 victory against Lehman College. On Sunday, Rowan took on Tufts University at home for the second round. And despite outshooting the Jumbos 13-7, the Profs failed to score a goal. They lost 1-0 and ended their historic run. Rowan finished the season with a 17-3-1 record. Over on the women's side, the Profs entered the NCAA tournament hot after winning the NJAC championship. But after a back-and-forth game, Rowan was knocked out of the first round of the tournament with a 3-2 loss to Christopher Newport University. The score was tied at 1 going into the second half when midfielder Gabby Gillis gave the captains a 2-1 lead. Forward Shannon Reardon then evened the score up off a header from a Maxine New corner kick. In the 75th minute, forward Victoria Perry scored the game-winning goal for the captains, which ended the Profs season with a record of 16-2-2. In men's swimming, Rowan defeated Ramapo College 166-88 in a New Jersey Athletic Conference meet on Saturday. The Profs won the 400 medley relay with a winning time of 3 minutes and 35.38 seconds. They also had 3 swimmers take first place in 2 individual events. Jesse Novak won the 50 and 100 meter freestyles, Mike Simunek finished first in the 100 and 200 meter breaststrokes, and John Tapper captured first in the 1,000 and 500 meter freestyles. The Profs have a 4-0 record overall and 2-0 in the conference. Well, guys, we had 2 really good sports teams, at least for the soccer teams, go, and it's kind of sad to see them go out of the round so early, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm actually really surprised to see how well our swim team is doing. I really want to get out to a meet because their record seems really well.
That's impressive. Yeah, they had a couple national championship swimmers on that team, so really something to keep an eye on that they're undefeated still.
Definitely.
I'm proud of Rowan sports teams. Thanks, Stephen. And now we go to Eric Conklin with Rowan's diving team.
Rowan's swimming and diving team hosted William Patterson University on Friday, November 11th for their third matchup of the 2016 season. Though the team is only 0-2 to start the season with 2 losses against Stevenson Institute of Technology and Bridgeport University hopes are high heading into tonight's match. After being defeated by 34 points in their first match and 18 in their second, the Rowan swimming and diving team came out determined to turn the start to their season around. And that they did, being dominant over William Patterson University, defeating them by a final score of 175-59. Rowan's teams placed first in almost every event. The team got out to a great start by placing first in the women's 400-yard medley, men's 400-yard medley, and men's 1,000-yard freestyle. Rowan was dominant in the shorter races as well, also placing first in the men's 50-yard freestyle and women's 200-yard freestyle. The team picked up their first win of a very long season that stretches into mid-March. Rowan swimmers and divers look to build on this win, looking to pull ahead in the standings with their upcoming matches. All eyes now are on making it to the NCAA Division III Championships in Shenandoah, Texas, come this March. And it looks like it's going to be a very exciting season for Rowan's swimming and diving team. They have upcoming meets against Pace University, Montclair State, and 2 invitational trips to Worcester, Massachusetts for the WPI Gampé Invitational and Penn State University. Live from the Rowan Rec Center, I'm Eric Conklin for Channel 5 RTN News.
All right, well, I'll be honest, I didn't even know we had a diving team, and the fact that they're doing so well, that makes me really want to go and watch them.
I know, I really didn't even know we had a diving team either.
And that's one of my favorite things to watch on the Olympics, so it's cool that we have it right here on campus.
Yes, definitely. They're the best to watch. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in to RTN News. I'm Summer Shiki.
And I'm Sarah Riken. Like always, stay golden.